Well, good morning. This is Plant Smart Living with Farmer Fred. Really glad you could join me today out here in the garden. Well, anyhow, we're past our last frost date here in Pennsylvania, which is it's May 15th. And so I'm out here underneath my arched trellis that I built out of a cattle panel. And so what I want to do is plant some beans out here, and the variety is yard-long Asian beans. And this is what they look like. So thanks for joining me today. So anyhow, a couple weeks ago I went to a tractor supply store near us here in Pennsylvania and picked up two of these cattle panels. Now these are 50 inches high by 16 feet long, and just the other day I installed this one here. I'm going to be installing the other one and doing a video at the same time. In fact, I'm going to be doing that video today. But anyhow, I have to be honest with you, I love these things. They were really easy to put in, and I just love the arch. And so, now that the soil is warming up, now's a good time to plant your beans. And so let me just take a minute here and we'll read behind the pack here some of the information they give you here. So yard-long beans, also known as Chinese long or asparagus bean. Yard-long is a stringless variety, can be eaten young as a snap bean or mature as a dried bean. Similar in taste to a green bean, but with a more pliable pod. Frequently used in stir-fry and Asian dishes. Yard-long is a climber which grows well on a trellis or fence or in a container with support. Rich in vitamin A, can be refrigerated up to 5 days in a plastic bag. Planting depth is half inch, thin to 12 inches, and it likes full sun. And so this, this trellis is probably almost 7 feet high. And so I thought this would be perfect to grow these beans up, being, I'll probably let them get really long. And so I'm really excited to use this arched trellis. I just love the way it looks. And so let's get started planting these beans. But before we get started planting these beans, I thought I would just give you an idea where I'm going to be planting these and where I installed that arched trellis out of a cattle panel. They're on the left there. I have my potatoes. I have my strawberries here on the right there. But down there you can see the arched trellis, which will get plenty of sun throughout the day. And so that's where we're going to be planting these beans. So anyhow, when we start planting these, you want to make sure your soil's nice and loose. And I have a garden fork here that I use. And you just want to work through the soil, making sure it's nice and loose. I also amended this soil with some of my alfalfa pellets earlier, and so this way they'll also work down into the soil. But this fork is 12 inches long, and you can see how easily it goes into the soil. And I'll be growing these in our composted leaf mulch, amended with topsoil. And so just work through your soil, making sure it's nice and loose. The looser your soil is, the more the roots will spread and also take up more nutrients, resulting in a larger plant, healthier plant. And so I'm just going to take my fork and smooth out the soil. And then I'm just going to take a trowel here and create a furrow here with it out about 4 inches, and then put a bunch of beans in my hands. I'm going to plant these about 2 inches apart. That way I always like to overseed in case some don't germinate. You also want to make sure there's no big clumps in the soil when you go to put the beans in, and especially backfill. So you're simply going to just put them right in the soil. Growing beans is one of the easiest seeds to grow. They're actually a lot of fun watching them grow. I'm really anxious to watch these grow up this new trellis here. And this cattle panel, by the way, cost me $22. And so I just think it's a great deal. I was surprised how easy it was to put in. And so just simply, I'm going to just take my hand and backfill that. Again, making sure there's no big clumps. And then pat it down nice, firm it up a little bit. And then also I'm just going to take a little stick from the woods there and mark each end. And then you want to just water them in real nice. And you always want to make sure you keep your seeds well watered. You don't want them drying out on you. And you know, you could also put like a piece of row cover over this if you have problem with birds or, you know, small animals digging in the soil that way. A piece of row cover over that will protect the beans before they even start coming up. I may end up getting a piece out of my garage over there. So anyhow, it was fun direct sowing those beans out here in the garden, and you know, I'll keep you posted as these grow up here on this trellis. And you know, I'm really excited to watch these beans hang down as they grow and mature. And like I said, growing beans or direct sowing beans is really something easy to do here. And so anyhow, I just want to thank you for joining me today out here in the garden. Hope you have a wonderful day. So until next time, this is Plant Smart Living with Farmer Fred.